Hello, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? I'm so glad to be here once again. Okay, I'm still on the Ooni Of Ife stories that is coming out at this time. So what we are hearing allegedly right now is that following the successful launching, excuse me, launching, opening ceremonies, that that happened, in Akure for some days now. It has been alleged that Ooni of Ife, has come out to, sincerely, appreciate everyone, from the bottom of his heart, to appreciate everyone who came out, to support what, the 2 3 days. Excuse me. So sorry about that. I've been having a bit of cough here and there. Okay, so KBC has come out to thank everyone, who stood by them, because it wasn't easy. A lot of these projects started way back in the day, dating back to 3 years back, and don't forget that some of these projects, like this Ojaja Mega City project, was actually started right at the time that Queen Naomi was still in the palace, and the story we heard was that it was 2 billion naira project at that time, and it was actually started by no other person than Queen Naomi's brother Bero. For a lot of you who are familiar with the story, he started it with 1 billion naira initially, and he did it. He requested for, I think, extra 500 in 2 or 3 places, and up to the time that, from what we gathered, the project wasn't what they were seeing on ground wasn't commensurable, with the money that has been expended so far. And as a matter of fact, Ooni of Ife wasn't impressed with what was going on. Don't forget that this is a man that has many years in experience in the estate, real estate business. Okay, so he saw that in good time, and they had to stop that project. No, not they didn't stop the project. They had to take the project from Gbero at that time, and that was also part of the problem that that later snowballed to something big, between Ooni of Ife and their Queen Naomi. I don't want to bore you with the details of the thereafter, as far as Gbero, the project, and Queen Naomi was concerned. That is another conversation for another day. But what we are bringing to your doorstep at this time is Ooni of Ife, has paid, tribute, to people who were there at the beginning of this project. It was so appreciative of the Deja Fakure, who played a big role, trying to make the land available. The government at that time, everybody who helped in making the land available, those who helped in putting the idea, the dream together. Don't forget that these are humongous projects, costing a lot of funds. It is not just bringing these funds out that matters. It is having the required expertise, to carry out some of this project. Okay, so 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 that is why Ooni of Ife, having seen that what he started at that time, despite the setback, you know, it was able to, come to see the light of the day. They've completed all the projects, and now they are now opening them one after the other. The man KBC, was extremely joyous, together with the fact that Tadini Kao was there with him, together with the fact that his heartthrob, Queen Nami was also there. The man was just happy all through his time in Akure. Okay, and it is out of that abundance of his happiness that he's saying, that that he's thanking everybody, and he's telling the whole world that, look, for those who care to ask, he's telling the whole world that we had to put aside our individuality for the greater good. What he's talking about is, the challenges he's had with Queen Naomi, the challenges of back and forth quarrel here and there. He's saying that at the end of the day, they had to put aside their differences, their individuality, for the sake of their tomorrow, for the sake of tomorrow, for the sake of Tadenikau, for the sake of the dream, the lofty dreams they put share together ab initio. Okay, so I'm very glad that Ooni of Ife, recognizes the fact that there's actually time for everything. Honestly, there's time for everything. There's time and I think the time for them to gradually begin to come back together, is now. And that is why you saw in those videos that even though Queen Naomi was seated like, I think 4 or 5 chairs away from his left side, when he stood up, as he was dancing with Tadenika, intermittently he was stealing glances at Queen Naomi. And you need to look at that facial expression. When a man, is in love, you see this in his looks. He doesn't hide. I'm a man and I know what I'm talking about. It's obvious, so obvious that these two people really do love themselves. And just watching that picture that day, I felt so emotional myself, because I'm like, how did we even get here in the first place? Because you could see royalty written all over Queen Naomi. The composure in her, you know, the confidence in her in walking that Tadenika out to meet the dad, and just being able to do that majestically, and move out of that place back to her seat majestically. It was so amazing. And you could see her usual aura, just glowing all over the place. She's a pretty lady, you know, pretty lady. And I can tell you that even as we speak now, among all the Oloris that's in the palace, no one comes near our dear Queen Naomi. I'm not just saying this because I love Queen Naomi. I'm saying it because it's a fact. It's the facts. A lot of you, some of you may not like this, and it's your right, not to like what I like. But I'm saying that those of you who watched those videos, who saw those pictures, you could see that Queen Naomi May was so radiant. She was her usual beautiful self, and she carried herself majestically, like the royalty that we all know her to be. So so, so I'm not surprised that Ooni of Ife is coming out at this time to thank everyone, appreciating everyone who took part in seeing to the fulfillment of that dream, of having this Mujaja mega city. And I'm also very happy that he has come out to tell the whole world that look, himself and Queen Naomi. In fact, he was practically speaking on behalf of himself and Queen Naomi, coming out to say, we have decided to put aside our individuality. We have subsumed them, for the greater good of tomorrow, for the greater good of Tadenikao, who we both love so much. Okay, so yeah, Ooni of Ife speak in this manner just makes me feel so glad, because we may vilify and criticize Ooni of Ife for all we care, but the reality is that look, this man has got his good sides. You can imagine he started this project some years back when Queen Naomi was still in the palace, and somewhere along the line, Bero, I have to admit, messed up, somewhere along the line, and even at that initial setback, Ooni of Ife never derailed. He immediately continued the project because it is something he believed in. It is something he had a passion for to do. He continued the project and he saw to the end of it, not minding the quarrels or the issues he kept having with Queen Naomi. He never looked at that, because I think his primary aim at that time is he was doing all this for Tadenika and Queen Naomi. And I want to believe that he still believes in that dream. And just realizing how far he has gone, seeing to the fulfillment of that dream, I really want to see, I really want to, respect this man for being firm in that commitment towards Tadenikao and Queen Naomi. Okay, so like I said, Ooni of Ife has come out to thank everybody, who have made his dream come true. He particularly came out, he particularly said that himself and Queen Naomi have decided to put aside their differences for the greater good, which is for the future of Tadenikao and their own future. So this is a beautiful news that's coming out this time, and we said we have to bring it to your doorstep. God bless you as always for listening to us, for sharing our videos, for liking our videos, and most importantly for subscribing. I'm going to see you soon. Bye bye.